All right, here we go. Good afternoon, everybody. Glad to see everybody here. I'm gonna go ahead and we'll get us started, make it official. All right, it's great to see all of you here today. And today, during our prayer, pledge, and four-way test, will be Amy Farrer coming up to lead us in that. Amy, help yourself.
Bow your heads with me. Dear wise and loving Father, thank you for those who are gathered here today in person or remotely. Thank you for your many and abundant blessings. Thank you for life itself, for the measure of health we need to fulfill our callings, for sustenance and for friendship. Thank you for the ability to be involved in useful work and for the honor of bearing appropriate responsibilities. Thanks as well for the freedom to embrace you or the freedom to reject you. Thank you for loving us with that boundless and gracious nature. Help us to do the same for others. Father, we pray today for the individuals gathered here, for their families, for our community, for our nation, and for our world. We ask that you would grant us wisdom amid the conflicting interests and issues of our times, a sense of the welfare and true needs of your people, a keen thirst for justice, confidence in what is good, the ability to work together when there is honest disagreement, personal peace in our lives, and joy in our tasks. Please give us assurance of what would please you and what would benefit those who live and work in and around our beloved city of Murfreesboro. In your most blessed name we pray. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now the four-way test of the things we think, say, and do. Number one, is it the truth? Number two, is it fair to all concerned? Number three, will it build goodwill and better friendships? Number four, will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Amy. I appreciate you doing that. Just want to remind y'all, you do not have to be here in person to lead us in the prayer, pledge, and four-way test. You can be joining us via Zoom if you want to. If you would like to do the prayer and the pledge and the four-way test, any meeting, please just let Gloria know and we will get you added. See how easy it is to do. All right, if y'all don't mind, check your cell phones. I need to do the same thing. I have to check it 5 times, you know, that it's silenced as we get started, even though we literally do not have the carafes on the table. Please do not forget to break out some folding money, some walking around money, and place it on the table. This goes to the Polio Plus Fund, where Rotary is trying to defeat polio. Remember how many countries we are down to? 2. Came down from 3 this year. So we'll collect all that up, and when John Calfee comes back and joins us in person, he will submit that to the Rotary Foundation for the fight against polio. Family of Rotary, does anybody have any news or updates about Dr. Berner? I do not. I assume no news is good news. I do want to point out, I told our members on Zoom that we have 3 guests today. And if y'all don't mind, I'd like to introduce them. John, would you mind introducing who you have with you today? Great. Thanks for being here today. John Hinkle.
Once again, I have Stacy Webb. But anyway, I've turned in his application.
Wonderful. Stacy, welcome back. Glad to have you. David, would you like to introduce who you have with you?
My sister Connie.
Okay.
Columbus, Indiana, does theater there. Very good at that. She's been for a few days.
Great, Connie. Thanks for joining us today. Glad to have you. All right. I appreciate that. I'm going to move on with our sports report. Got a lot to go over. The boys high school will be playing for the state championship. Now, Blackman won 2 games in their bracket, came against Siegel and lost to Siegel. Riverdale lost the first game. Siegel, meanwhile, played 4 games in their bracket, won them all, and are now headed to state. And they play this Thursday night at MTSU's Murphy Center. So while Siegel plays for the state title, Blackman girls won it. And they tore through their bracket and played Lebanon, I believe it was, in a tight game until the very end, and they broke away by 10 points. Meanwhile, in the college ranks, the MTSU men, they're pretty much done. They lost to North Texas. Vanderbilt in the SEC tournament beat A&M for the first game, and then turned around and lost the second game to Florida. Tennessee, meanwhile, even though they lost to Alabama, it was a great game, gave Alabama all they could handle, but they are in the tournament, and Tennessee men play Oregon State on Friday, March 19th. And this news broke last night. MTSU women and Tennessee women are both in the tourney, and they play each other. It's the first time these two have faced off in quite some time. And they play this Sunday. I forgot what time they play this Sunday. And Vanderbilt women basically called it off, not even halfway through the season, so they are done.
I think they play at 1 o'clock on ABC.
That's correct, 1 p.m. Central. So that game will be on television, so this will be a good game to watch. All right, moving on to our Rotary business, got a lot to cover. I want you to notice the one in blue at the top says Books from Birth. This agency also submitted their application on time. Quite frankly, I just was not aware of one. And again, so here are all the agencies so far that have submitted a grant request from our club. And like I said last week, we've yet to determine a meeting date to go over all of this, but this is what we raise funds for ourselves and our club, is so that we can give it back to places within our community. All right, not this Thursday, but the next, if you are on the board of directors would like to join in, we plan on having a meeting next Thursday at 4, so March 25th at 4 p.m. The dictionary project, what everybody's been waiting on other than Rotary Trivia, the dictionary project. Right now, actually, matter of fact, we started yesterday, but this week we are meeting at a place in person. I will show you where in just a minute. From 11 a.m. until 2 p.m., all we're doing is putting stickers inside each dictionary. Very easy, a little time consuming, but that's why we spread this out over 5 days for 3 hours a day. And here is where it is. It's right off the square. It's at Main Street, Murfreesboro. So as we're looking at the photograph, to our left is Marina's on the Square. And behind us is the bank. And up to our left and to the left was what used to be Calvary Bank, but it's all torn down. But at least I'm hoping you've got a nice point of reference. This is where we are meeting Monday through Friday. And then after this week, we will deliver the dictionaries. So just if you can do so, Melissa Cassidy has a list of schools. You'll pick your school. You'll take your dictionaries to the school, and that's it. You do not have to go in. Thank you, COVID, for doing this, for interrupting this, but just take them to the school and school will take over. And we have a video that the school can play and let them know who the dictionaries are from and why. And so that's our dictionary project. Speaking of projects, we've got a brand new one on the horizon. Saturday, April 17th, Shred Day. And this is at 04 Parkway. You know, where Hobby Lobby and James, what's the workout place? Planet Fitness. It's on 04 Park. Truthfully, it's at the Planet Fitness location. But again, you know, Hobby Lobby, Red Lobster, Planet Fitness, to give a little point of reference. 9 to 12 Saturday. People will drive up and will give us stuff to shred. They will not be getting out of their car. And again, we'll do the distancing and the masking and all this stuff. But in addition to people shredding, they will be donating food or other items and will be collecting it for Greenhouse Ministries. James Price is going to come up and go over a little bit more details about this. So I'll step aside and let James take over.
So this is the first time in like, I think a year and a half that Better Business Bureau has been able to do this because of COVID. And so we're trying to catch up with this. So yeah, it's called Secure Your Day, your ID Day. We're going to shred the documents. Max Shred is going to be there to do it in the Planet Fitness parking lot. We are going to social distance. We want people to stay in their cars. Greenhouse Ministries, actually, they have a project that they're already doing for that day. So it's really on Rotary to get up there and help get people and get the stuff out of their cars. We're going to collect it for them, and we're actually going to probably store it at Planet Fitness unless we can get a truck or something like that to just load it into right there.
I think it's cold, yeah.
Nope, it's Planet Fitness.
But that's not by
No. Planet Fitness, Bargain Hunt, between Walmart and
Well,
Home Depot, in that parking lot. Right behind Panera. Right.
Just want to make sure y'all were paying attention.
But yeah, we're gonna be putting out some flyers. We asked Greenhouse Ministries and said we'll take the donations. We just don't have anybody we can send that day to do it. And so the whole time, even before they said that, I was trying to think of a way, how can I get Rotary involved in this, do a membership drive, that kind of thing along the way. So be thinking about those kind of things. We're able to do this because of the accredited business. This is something that BBB kind of gives back to the community. And I know that there's a lot of the folks here at Rotary that are BBB accredited businesses. So we really appreciate that. We don't want people to get out of their cars. Murfreesboro PD already has said that they're going to be there to direct traffic for us. Like I said, we're going to collect stuff for greenhouse, toiletries, old bicycles, food. If there's another organization that you guys had that we could invite, I think we have a couple more spaces we could do that. So if you have something that you're passionate about, another organization that we can tie into this, we'd be more than happy to consider those along the way. So with that, the first Saturday after tax day, so April 17th is when we're doing this. And hopefully it'll be absolutely huge for us.
Thank you very much, James. Sorry about the confusion about the location, but as I like to joke, just want to make sure y'all were paying attention. Next week, we'll have a map or a photograph with the right location. All right. Last, not least, in mid-July, the RILA is being held. Rotary Youth Leadership Award is for high schoolers. If you know someone who would like to go, their application is due April 1st. So I wanted to mention that. And now, Rotary Trivia. I ask you just to log on to the Rotary website and look up who is the president of Rotary International. I've held off on this question, quite frankly, because I didn't know how to properly pronounce his name. And was on Rotary Leadership Institute a couple of Saturdays ago, and they were pronouncing his name, and I'm like, oh, that's how it's done. So, and I'll show you why I got mixed up about how to properly pronounce his name. So, on your table, for those of you that are here, on your table is a blank index card. Hopefully you've got an ink pen. I used to hand out ink pens. Half of them don't write, so I quit handing them out. And it took me 3 pens to find one that writes today. Anyway, if you have something to write with, please grab a blank card, write your name, today's date, and your answers. So who is the president of Rotary International? And those of you on Zoom, hit the chat feature. Remember to hit it just to me, or else everybody sees your answers. Let me check chat while we're at it. We've got a handful of chat going on. And then what country is our president, Rotary International, the current guy? Where is he from? So real quick, let you take your cell phone out, hit rotary.org or hit Google. Who is the Rotary International president? Where is he from? All right, based on your bandwidth speed and how fast your phone is, let's check it out. Holger Nock. That's how you pronounce his name. Holger Nock. And where is he from? Germany. We think Rotary Club of Murfreesboro is a mouthful. I'm not even going to pronounce this. The Rotary Club of Herzogentum Lauenburg Mühlen. That's what 4 semesters of German language got me. How was that? Anyway, Holger Nack. I was pronouncing it Holger Nack. Why? Because of the rock band from the late 70s, early 80s, whose lone hit, Marschallona, off the album Get the Knack. That's why I was calling him Holger Nack. Do you blame me? I hope not. So, for next week, youth services kind of fits into Ryland. And I'll go ahead and give you your clues right now. Rotary has clubs for high school and college. To this very day, at this very moment, I get them mixed up. So I'm not going to stand. I sat here and told you the wrong location for Shred Day. Lord help me if I'm going to sit here and try to go which one's Interact and which one's Rotary. I'm not going to do that, but those are your clues for next week. All right, I'm going to turn it over to Amelia Bozeman, who will introduce our speaker. Those of you on Zoom, if you do not mind, if you'll mute yourselves, and I'll turn it over to Amelia. Amelia?
Every week you get a little bit faster. So you're going to PT. Looking good.
Thank you.
Hey, everyone. Good to see everyone here and on Zoom today. I have known our speaker for a really, really, really long time. I wouldn't say her whole life, but a good bit of it. So I'm really excited to present today Allie Dauenhauer. She serves as the expansion coordinator for Isaiah 117 House of Rutherford County. She's wife and mother of 3 blessings, 2 of whom were adopted from the foster care system. Allie and her husband were foster parents for 5 years, and they're eager to change the way foster care begins for children in our community. Please welcome Allie Dauenhauer.
Thank you, Amelia. My name is Allie Dauenhauer, and I serve as the expansion coordinator for Isaiah 117 House, Rutherford County. Oh, I clicked, yes. Oh, there we go. Our mission. So our mission with Isaiah 117 House is to provide physical and emotional support in a safe and loving home for children awaiting a foster care placement. That is our goal, and that is our mission with Isaiah 117 House. So currently, what it looks like when the child enters the foster care system, they are removed from their home, and they're usually brought to the Department of Children's Services offices to wait for a foster family. That wait can be a few hours to almost a full day, and sometimes several days. When they're brought to the Department of Children's Services office here in Rutherford County off of Church Street, it's on Jayhawk Court. A lot of times they are scared and they are lonely. They don't come with much, and they are in dirty clothing. So that is what removal day looks like. My husband and I, like Amelia said, we served as foster parents for about 5 years. And during our foster care training, we learned about removal day, and we learned that children are removed out of their home due to abuse, physical, emotional, sexual abuse. Sometimes they're removed due to drug use in the home. Sometimes removed due to neglect. There's no food in the refrigerator. Sometimes they're removed because they don't have a home. Recently, there was a foster child in Rutherford County living in a tent for 6 months. Sometimes they go to hotel to hotel to hotel, and eventually the Department of Children's Services office steps in to get them to a foster family so their biological family can work on what they need to work on to get their kids back. So we learned about removal day, how DCS comes to a home. The child has about 15 minutes to gather what they can. Normally all of that, what they have is put into a black trash bag. They're put in the back of a car. They say bye to their family, and they're brought to the DCS office where they wait. Sometimes that wait here in Rutherford County is in a small visitation room. Sometimes that wait is in a cubicle where the DCS officers work, but that's where they go and they wait. So my husband and I learned about removal day, and it didn't sound very good for anyone involved. And then we experienced our first removal day. So the sweet kiddos with the hearts over their faces, they came to us at 6 months and 18 months old. Our 6-month-old came to us with a broken arm due to physical abuse. and they had spent all day long at the DCS office. So the caseworker there was rocking the 6-month-old with a broken arm, trying to do bottles. The 18-month-old didn't have a nap that day because there's not a bed at the DCS office. And they came to us right around dinner time, and they came with one diaper bag where nothing fit. And they didn't cry. They just sat with us, honestly, just staring because they were shocked. They've left their home. And regardless of what mama and daddy have done, they're still your mama and your daddy. So they left their family and they were brought to an office and they were brought to us and they were just confused. So we did dinner that night. We did baths and carefully removed those clothes from that little baby's arm because it hurt so badly. And then we got him to bed. We did our prayer, our Bible, our song. We tucked him in to their cribs. And then 10 o'clock that night, all I had was a diaper bag, right? So I didn't have what I needed to care for them. So I get in the car as the foster mama. I drive to Walmart. I need formula, diapers, wipes, car seats, clothing, toys. We needed all of it. So go to Walmart, get all that we need. And I came back exhausted. The next day, the baby slept until 11 because they were super, super tired. I kept checking in on them, but they were tired, right? And we got into a good groove, and they were with us for about 9 months. And then in a miraculous restoration story, they were reunified back to their mom and their dad. And we've seen them pre-COVID, and they were doing super, super great. So they're now 4 and 5. 3 and 4, and they're thriving with their parents. So they're doing awesome. But we experienced that removal day and we thought, this is not good for our 6 and 18-month-old. This is not good for foster families. And this is also not really good for DCS, but we didn't really know how to solve the problem. So we took a little break after they went back home because our hearts were really sad. And about a year later, we get a call on a Monday in March, right about this time, for a 2 and a 3-year-old. They too had been removed from their home. They had been at the DCS office all day long, and they were coming to our house right around dinner time. When they came, all of their belongings fit in a Kroger plastic sack. And I was told to leave it outside my home due to drug residue and to let anything crawl out. And they came to us not quiet and shell shocked, they came to us wild because they had been cooped up in an office all day. So they would run up and down our hallways, checking every nook and cranny of the house out, trying to figure out where they're at, who are these people, what's going on. And it was pretty crazy. But once again, we got them dinner, we got them cleaned up, we got them in their beds. The 2-year-old climbed out of the crib because he was ready for a big boy bed. So we had to put a mattress on the floor that day until he got his big boy bed, and we got them settled. And then I didn't have anything as the foster mom, right? So I got in the car at 10 o'clock at night. I went to Walmart. I got the pull-ups and the wipes and the clothes and the car seats and everything I needed. And I was exhausted. And I thought, this is just not right. It's not right for my kids to be in a traumatic situation and then go wait in an office. It's not right for that DCS worker to have to try to manage a 2 and 3-year-old while doing their paperwork and their phone calls and their meetings and their Zoom calls and everything they have to do. It's not efficient. They're underappreciated, and now they have this tax too. And it's not really great for foster families to not feel support on the front end. So I have to say the 2 and 3-year-old are now almost 7 and 6, and they were adopted. So we're about our 1-year anniversary date of adopting them. So they are our forever kids now, Ava and Elijah. So learning about the foster care system, learning about removal day, experiencing it ourselves, we just thought we can do better. And so we got to researching, how can we fix this problem? There's got to be a solution. And in our research, we came across the Isaiah 117 house. And they asked the question, instead of an office, what if there was a home instead? So Isaiah 117 house provides a comforting home where that child can be brought instead to wait, a place that is safe with friendly volunteers that are background checked, certified and trained to be with those children, where there's clean clothes, right? Because they just come with the clothes on their back normally, or it's in a dirty diaper bag or a Kroger sack. They don't have usually clothing that fits, or it's not clean. We can get them clean clothes, smiles, toys, snuggly blankets. There is no washer and dryer, and there is no bath at the DCS office. So whatever they come with, that's just what they have. At Isaiah 117 house, there is a washer and dryer. We can take that Kroger plastic sack, empty it out, and clean the blankets they actually came with. So that night in their foster home, they can snuggle with something from home that feels comfortable to them, that's now clean. This space allows all of us, or all the kids, to get the care that they need while freeing up DCS now to do the job that they need to do, right? Because our volunteers are caring for those children. Now the DCS workers are free to make their phone calls, do their paperwork, do whatever they need to do. And the Isaiah 117 house also supports them. Our fridge is stocked with their favorite coffee creamer. We're meeting their needs. When we get lunch for that child, we get lunch for the DCS worker as well. So they feel comforted and supported during a really hard job. So there are several Isaiah 117 houses already established. And what we're seeing with those homes is kind of foster care, the way it begins really is changing. So currently right now with the foster care system, foster families will get phone calls, sometimes really late at night or early in the morning. So you might get a call at 2 a.m. saying, this is DCS, we have a sibling group of 3, they're 2, 6, and 9, they all have lice, can they come to your home? And a lot of times that answer is, no, I'm really sorry, we don't have lice treatments, it's 2 in the morning, or foster families aren't even answering the phone because they're asleep. But instead, now that Isaiah 117 house exists, that call sounds a lot different. The DCS officers can call foster families and say, we have a sibling group of 3, they're 2, 6, and 9. They've already been to the Isaiah 117 house. They've had a lice treatment. They've had a bath. They're in pajamas. We've already given them food. They have backpacks, so they're essentials for the next 3 days. Can we bring them to your house? And a lot of times foster families are saying yes, because they feel supported on the front end. We also give them whatever else they need, right? Like, you need a frozen lasagna that night, we got it for you. You don't have a crib for that baby, we can give you a pack and play. Whatever you need, Isaiah 117 house is providing on the front end for foster families. So kids are actually getting placed in foster homes a lot quicker instead of just waiting at the DCS office. So we're seeing that too. So like I said, there are already some established Isaiah 117 houses. The first home was started in Carter County in 2018. Our founder and director, Rhonda Paulson, she's a foster mom. She started that home and she was seeing how it was revolutionizing the foster care world in that county. So it's beginning to expand and grow. So Greene County was started in 2019, Washington County. We actually have a home in Indiana, Vanderburgh County, and then we have one in Sullivan County as well. And I've also listed our current expansions. Those are all the ones in Tennessee, and we're also expanding to Indiana, Florida, and Virginia. And these homes are, like I said, are really just changing the way foster care begins for children, DCS workers, and foster families. And we're seeing some really awesome stories and some really hard stories, because it's really heavy when you put on the trauma of a child and you hear their stories, because it's constant. Rutherford County has about 200 children in the foster care system. And these are kiddos that are in class with your kids or at church with you. Like, you wouldn't know it. They're at the park. When I took my foster kiddos everywhere, and you would never know their background, right? So they're everywhere among us and they need our help. And so we're currently, like we said, expanding here in Rutherford County. We've been expanding and fundraising for almost 2 years, and we've raised about $200,000. Most of that is through our luncheon, lemonade stands, t-shirt sales, and speaking to groups and organizations like this one. So our current needs for Rutherford County are speaking opportunities. The more we share our story and the more people hear, the more they're like, oh, this is a problem. The solution is a home, and they want to get on board. Of course, financial donations and physical donations, but I'm going to be very transparent. I don't normally say this in front of groups of people. We desperately need land, like desperately need land. And we've put in 3 offers and they just keep getting rejected. Land in Rutherford County is hard, and sometimes it's very, very, very expensive. And so when we send in our offers, we always include a letter of who we are. We do that first, and then we send off, obviously, a contract with our financial offers to them. And they have just not been accepted because we are a nonprofit and we can't normally just offer in a full price. So I'm gonna humbly ask, if you know of anybody or anyone that has land connection. By land, I mean half an acre to an acre. We normally have a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. Our blueprint is 2,800 square feet, but also like the original Carter County house, that house was pre-existing. So they renovated that home. So Rutherford County is open to wherever we can be and whatever comes our way. But that's what we're currently working towards right now, because we are ready and eager to build our home. DCS is waiting. We do as much as we can now. So anytime DCS does get a child, we get a call and we bring them what they need. So just yesterday, I dropped off booster seats. We've done diapers, wipes, formula, car seats. We do a lot that we can now, but a home will obviously open up so much more for the foster children in our county. So if you know of any land connections, please let me know. I'd really appreciate that. We've also been trying to build our contractor and builder connections. And then our upcoming fundraisers, we have an annual golf tournament on September the 24th. We started it last year and it was so much fun. And then we have a date night also coming up in June that we're planning. So I can share more information. We're on Facebook, Instagram. We have our website, Isaiah117house.com. But that's pretty much it. That's my story, Isaiah 117 House, why we need it and what we're working towards. If y'all have any questions, I would be happy to answer anything that you might have. Yes.
Okay, I know that you're looking for land.
Yes.
At a premium.
Yes.
Would Isaiah 117 be open to an existing house?
Yes.
If it's zoned?
Right. Yes. So like Carter County, it was pre-existing. So kind of what they did, they sold the home to them for $75,000. And then they had everybody in Carter County, it was really amazing, like just chipped in and renovated it and for free. And then they had another $75,000 raised for their budget. So all Isaiah houses, they open debt-free with your first year budget already situated. So when you're fundraising for the next year. And so that's kind of that model. So yeah, they did have a home, and we're opening that here. The homes that I've been seeing, because I'm on the realty apps like crazy, and we're working with a wonderful realtor. But the best that we could do for 3-bed, 2-bath is about 230, 260, and that's our budget plus some. So that's kind of tricky. So yeah, we're open to that. We are, if we could financially figure that out. Yes,
The red door. See, this whole house won't have a red door.
it does. There's not much to that. We just like the aesthetic. It just looks, it does. It looks comforting and warm. And that's also important because the environment where the kids come from is usually not comforting, warm, or safe. And the DCS office feels like a government office. So we want our homes to feel different. Our website has all the inside pictures too, and they're also cozy and sweet. So yes, the red door. Any other questions? Yes.
How many foster care families have from
Oh, I looked at that stat the other day. I think we have about 50, I believe. We always need more. So as Rutherford County is growing, and it's really growing, the foster care system is growing as well. More people, more needs. And so we always need more foster families. And a lot of people reach out to Isaiah 117 House to volunteer to get kind of their feet wet in the foster world before they become foster families. Because like when you open up your home to trauma, like you're welcoming it into your safe space. And that's hard for a lot of people. But Isaiah House is its own kind of thing where you can kind of figure that out before becoming a foster family. Yes.
So are the homes staffed by paid staff or is it all volunteers?
Right. So there's one paid staff, which will hopefully be me. And then we have about 30 volunteers that are state trained, certified, and background checked, and they provide their availability. So like I would have a list of everyone who said, I'm available on a Monday. And if DCS has a child come to us, I would call my Monday people and say, hey, we have a 14-year-old at the house. Can you come and be here? The volunteer stays and the DCS worker has to stay too. So the DCS worker has a home office there in our home where they can go do their work. And also they like being at the house because it's a little more comfy than the DCS office. And we give them snacks and things too. And so that's who there. And then I'm there as well during the day. Mm-hmm. Any other questions? Yes.
For foster families, like first-time foster families, what kind of training do they, if any, do they receive, and who does that?
The foster families, yes. So DCS does all of that. So the Department of Children's Services website, they have ways to become a foster family. And you click it and you sign up for classes. And during COVID, it might look a little different, but when we did it, it was several weeks, almost a whole summer of classes. And they do things like cultural awareness, learning about abuse, learning about different cultures, learning about DCS, working with biological families, a whole training. And then you get background checked, obviously, and then you get interviewed. So they interview you and your spouse separately and together, and they do a home study. And your home has to be decked out with everything safety-wise. So we have so many fire extinguishers, carbon monoxide detectors, medicine has to be double locked. It's just a lot. And then you go through that whole system, that whole training. And then you kind of just tell DCS what age range you're open to, kind of what you would be open to in your home. And then they give you calls when a child comes. Yes.
Do the kids have access to social services due to the trauma?
Yes. So most kiddos come with some form of therapy. And DCS, all the children have a caseworker that follows them. And then also foster families have their own caseworker too, a foster support worker. And so everyone has a worker that helps them get the needs that they need. A lot of times that's speech therapy, physical therapy, emotional play therapy, and also visitations. Like they do still see their biological family as they work to reunify, and the caseworkers are over that as well. Mm-hmm. Yes. Anything else? Yes.
how long they typically stay in foster care? What percentage of get adopted?
Those are good questions. I don't have the exact statistics. I just know my foster care world of my friends and family that fostered here in Rutherford County. Most kiddos that I know have been in their home for 2 years. So Abe and Elijah were with us for 2 years before they were adopted. It's a very long process, right? Because to parent your child is like a constitutional right. Like we just can't start taking kids away willy-nilly. Like parents have to choose, like really, really prove that they cannot parent well. Or parent safely. And so that process takes a long time because there is visitations and biological parents that are really long plan that they have to work as far as they might have to go to therapy themselves and they have to prove income and transportation and all that. And so that process takes a while. And the goal of foster care is always to reunify. Like that is always it. But every foster child that I know among my friends has been adopted. So it's really hard. And a lot of times these biological families, it is cyclical. Like the mom and dad had problems and now they have problems. And now it's an ongoing thing. And it's really hard to break that system and that cycle. Yeah. Any other questions about anything? All right. Well, thank y'all.
Allie, thank you very much. Allie, on behalf of our club, I do want to give you this. Any and all monies that are collected today will be donated to the Polio Plus Fund, but we've done so in your honor.
Thank you.
Now, I do want to say this before y'all get out of here. And if you don't mind, I'll mention in a second. In all my years of Rotary, I have never seen a speaker and really paid attention to a female speaker, I should say, and their earrings. After today's meeting, I want you to come up here and check out Allie's earrings. Talk about dedicated to her cause. So that, Frank, if you'll put the screen back up and I'll close this out. And I do encourage you to go to their website and go to their Facebook page for here. The website covers all of Isaiah 117, but their Facebook page will help you stay in touch with what they're doing locally. So I encourage you to do that. And now to close us out, next week, what did Phil forget? Phil forgot where he put his Rotary magazine, because on the cover of Rotary magazine, it's talking about clean water and sanitation, which it's actually Clean Water and Sanitation Month for Rotary. And our speaker next week is Cynthia Allen of the Stones River Watershed. And this is important because the Stones River Watershed is a faithful sponsor of our pancake breakfast and burro brunch that we had this year. They've been a faithful sponsor, so they will be speaking to us next week. And to close us out, what happened in television history this past week? Buffy the Vampire Slayer ran for 7 years, never saw it. Cops ran for, and I had to double check this, that television show Cops started in 1989? Is that 30 plus years? You gotta be kidding me. No, it got changed. It's now Firemen. They changed it from Cops to Rescue. So now they follow ambulances, so to speak, or firemen on the way to a call. So they changed it. And I figured after 30 something years, you've seen all you can see. But anyway, Batman ended in 1968. But back in that time, Batman, holy moly, Batman showed for 2 nights a week. And then in 1977, I think I was 13, 14 years old. And God, I hate to admit it, I was watching Three's Company just like everybody else. Did you realize Three's Company was only on television for 7 years? Yeah, I didn't know that. But anyway, that's what happened in television history this past year. Y'all, I thank you for being here. Those of you on Zoom, I appreciate you being on. And remember, before I close out, don't forget to come up and check out Allie's earrings. Thank y'all very much. Okay.
Betty, if you want to get rid of some bags, our church uses, I think it's the Way of Hope, and a lot of those women are also carrying their belongings in a black plastic trash bag. I have taken so many suitcases down there. that,
Doors of Hope, isn't it?
well, maybe Doors of Hope, whichever. But it's the women's shelter that goes from one church to the next.
Oh, right. All died out, yeah.
Growing up.
And anyway, if you, I'll check and see if they're still doing it, because I have taken my suitcases, friends' suitcases, everybody's suitcases down there. And just have them on site. And when the ladies come in with a plastic garbage bag, they're asked if they want a suitcase.
So Red Doors is a sign of sanctuary.
So I'll double check and see if they're still doing that. And if they are, and you just want to get, donate your suitcases, we'll work out a way to get them.
Yeah.
Okay,
You
thank
go
you.
there and find sanctuary. So appropriate enough.
Yes.
So absolutely. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
Thank you.
yeah.
Yes, I will give you a flyer, and on the back of all of my, thank you, get all of my information. Yes, ma'am. Thank you for your support. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Random question.
Yeah.
You take donations of physical items, it says.
Thank you, Kent. I appreciate that. I guess I could cut this off.
We're the more expensive items.
Okay. Oh, perfect. I do need to get more masks.
That were so expensive, and I can't find anyone that.
I know, we just bought a person for our 1-year-old. They are very
They're
expensive,
very-
like
those-
$300 expensive. I was like, oh,
Convertibles that I
yes.
now 5-year-olds just throw it out of.
Yeah.
And I hate to throw it away. 'cause
I'm
it's so
sorry.
expensive, but yeah.
But if I hear of a foster family that would
Yeah,
take
me
one,
too.
we could, just through
Appreciate
Isaiah
it.
House, we can,
Thank
but,
you.
yeah. So thank you for thinking
Yeah,
of us.
we started that foster committee, and then we got pregnant with my third, so we did that. But it was a lot.
But good, because you want good foster families, you know, so.
But yeah, totally.
Well, thank you. Yes, nice to meet you too.
Amy, thanks for doing today. It's good to see you. Thank you. Oh, thank you very much.
A washer, a dryer.
Right now, since we don't have a home, we have a storage unit, and it's